I can immediately sense right off the bat if they're not confident. Girls can sense that. That is something that you absolutely can work on. It's like, man, I'm not confident. Nothing I can do. It runs in the family. We're a bunch of not confident people. That's just who we are. No, that is something that you can absolutely work on, and it's something that both men and women should work on.
Hi guys, this is Peyton with Girls Gone Right, and today we are doing another reaction to Hoe Math, but this one is actually going to be Hoe Math zones, because whatever one this was, apparently it helps to the first two that I reacted to. This will help explain everything. It's like the basis of Hoe Math. So like, you know, you take the intro to algebra. This is the intro to Hoe Math, apparently. So this is going to clarify and help break down the dating zones. And also, I'm not copying any Twitch streamers, Brett Cooper. This is simply because my AirPods were dead and I needed headphones to listen to this reaction and do the audio. It's giving gamer, and I don't game, but I do love Mario Kart, and I used to play Call of Duty in high school. Like, that was my shit. Loved Call of Duty. I actually, fun story, maybe not so fun for the person involved, but I was dating someone in high school, and if he's watching this, I doubt it, but it's so funny. We can all laugh at this now that we're adults. He came over and we were playing Call of Duty, and he beat me. And this is like, I was high school, like I was nearing adulthood, and we're playing Call of Duty and he beat me, and I was upset because I'm like, you don't beat me in my own house. Like that's really disrespectful. Get out. And I broke up with him. So that sounds awful. But yeah, don't beat me in a game. I'm very competitive and that upsets me. Anywho, moral of the story, Hoe Math, we are going to react to the zones, a map of relationship types to help relieve dating confusion. Great. We need that. That is what our culture needs right now. So I'm just gonna read this description because I honestly don't really know what this is about. Haven't even watched it yet. So it says, zones is a brief outline of what men and women value in each other. Named after the friend zone, I have expanded box theory and made a few corrections in order to divide relationship types into zones. Both men and women use zones as a handy guide to understand why their relationships are functioning the way they are and to make better choices. For women, if you're not his keeper and you can't improve on what he wants from you, he just isn't that into you. Move on. Stay sidelined. For men, if you're stuck in the friend zone, you need to learn to be a man. Oof. Wow. We haven't even watched the video yet. This is just in the description. It's not just looks, but fitness, success, power, and personality that make a woman excited. It's up to you to create that for yourself, or you can't complain. Both men and women can use the zones map as a quick and easy way to figure out why their relationships work the way they do, find out how to improve them, and either make these improvements happen or move on if they can't. So let's get to the reaction.
Men have one set
This
of
is
values.
very official that he
Men
keeps this in a binder.
add up what we think about your
Like
looks,
laminated.
your
That's
personality.
legit.
We subtract how much availability you're giving to other men, and then here I drew a cabinet, which is the male version of the galaxy, because there are other things that can make women more and less valuable to men, but it's not very much. These many things can make a big difference, a big impact on how women like men, but over here it's not that big of an impact. So this is basically the way that men decide how much they value you. And then once we decide, from the best I can get to the worst I'll take, where we're going to put you, you kind of end up in one of these boxes, and it can be pretty hard to leave. In order to do that, you would have to either improve your looks or your personality or get rid of the male attention that you have in your life, and you're not going to really be able to do it with this.
That's good.
If this isn't
male
cutting
attention.
it for us, this is a big lesson that a lot of women need to learn. You can't overcome lack in this department by wearing a t-shirt that he likes or picking up a hobby that he likes. That's why it's a cabinet. It's very small. It makes a small impact. If your cabinet is perfect for the man that you want, it might give you half a point to a point. This is really most of it. Women, on the other hand, they have two sets of criteria that they evaluate men on. They have good guy stuff and bad boy stuff. And this is one of the reasons that there's so much confusion in our culture about what women want, because they say they want good guy things, and then they actually go with men who have bad boy things. But the truth is they want both.
Facts.
And you don't have to choose. In our language, we say, I'm a good guy, or I'm a bad boy, or I'm good, or I'm bad, or this is... But really, you can be both of these things. And in order to be both of these things, you have to maximize your physical attractiveness, face, body, height, voice, all the things that you can do, lose weight, get muscle, maximize it, and maximize your masculinity. Dominance, power, confidence, smoothness, which is... I'll explain that later. Smoothness is basically how well you understand women. If you can approach a woman and you know what it is that she responds to, she's going to go, oh, you understand women. You're smooth. That requires some more unpacking. And women also respond to dark triad traits. This is a big difference between men and women. Men do not need women to have any evil stuff, any bad boy stuff. We don't need bad girls. Some guys like bad girls, but that's a personality thing. Men in general don't need girls to be bad. Women need men to be at least somewhat bad. You gotta be dangerous. You have to have the ability to be dangerous. Not necessarily go to jail, but you have to be capable of it. And that will boost your bad boy score, which is what you really want. It's better to be all bad and no good than it is to be all good and no bad, because then you end up in the friend zone.
Jail.
So both of these speech and thought bubbles are arranged the same way. The higher up you go, the more it is based in love, which is supportive, public, monogamous, and emotional. And the farther down you go, the less love there's going to be, and the more lust, which is going to be opportunistic, secret, multiple partners at many times, and impulsive. So, of course, a man is going to have lust for a keeper. Of course he is, because that means that he likes the way she looks. But he's going to have a lot of love for her. Way down here, he's going to have no love at all, and it's going to be entirely a lust-based relationship. Sleepers in the middle, where we have what women call situationships, that's where there's some level of emotional connection, but it's not really enough to be the one and only. You're kind of in a middle zone, and the man will say things like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 3 weeks, like, I don't know what my life is. Yes, we do. We do know what our life is. We do know where we're going to be. We just kind of want to wait for someone who we're definitely going to put in here. You got to stop listening to these things.
If a man wants to,
women,
he will.
Avoiding getting into these bad relationships
so
is a lot easier than it is for men to avoid getting in these bad relationships. You just have to know how he feels about your looks, your personality, and
men are
your
simpler,
exposure
is
to
what
other
I'm
men
saying.
and the stuff you have in common. Figure out how much he likes you, and judge it by how much investment he's giving you. How much of his time and energy and money and whatever it is that you value, because every woman values different kinds of investment. But if you value something and he's not giving it to you, because this is the higher you go, the more investment, the lower you go, the less investment. If he's not giving you the investment that you want, that's a very clear signal that you're not here. And you either have to change something to get here, or you have to leave and find another guy who likes you. So just really quick for men, keepers is obviously my one and only. This is the one woman that we care about the most. Sleepers these are girls who we like and we're attracted to them. And as you can see, this is the public-private line. There are some times that sleeper relationships enter into the public arena and will go out with you, but we still aren't really committed and we kind of waffle a little. And then there are some times where sleeper relationships are like, let's just keep this between us. Just come over at midnight, right? Once you get down into sweepers, this is usually just mistakes. We usually wish we hadn't done this. It might be related to alcohol, or maybe it's been a really long time, but if there's ever any kind of contact here, it's called sweepers as in under the rug, because we don't want anyone to know about it. So if a guy has ever had any level of a relationship with you and tried to hide you and not answer the phone and disappeared and everything, that's...
Okay, so I so far understand what he's saying, and I completely see this being accurate, because if a man likes a woman, he will pursue her. It's very obvious in his actions, in the way that he talks to a woman, in the way that he's communicating, in the way he's so persistent. It is obvious when a man wants someone. It is very black and white. If a man wants you, you will know. If a man likes you, you will know. If you have to play a game and sit there and wonder what a man is doing, if he you don't trust what he's doing when he's not with you, then that is a red flag in itself, right? Like, that is not it. If a man wants you to know what he's doing, he's going to reach out. If a man wants to know what you're doing and make the plans, he will reach out. It's not like it doesn't need to be this gray area, because that's what girls are making up in their own head. And I think we're all a little guilty of it. But the bottom line is, if a man wants to, he will. And I think it's so true in what he's saying. And that a man wants a good woman. I think that we're all kind of, I don't even know what you call it. It's like they're forbidden fruit, right? Like, everyone wants a little bit of what's forbidden, but you know it's not good for you. So a man may be attracted for, and I use attraction very lightly, like a man might think that a woman who is promiscuous or is just forbidden, like that might have a little bit of attraction, but it's not someone that he wants to commit to, right? Like, that's just something that is a sweeper that he's attracted to in the moment, and it's a mistake. And if a man, I think men are actually attracted to a woman that he can trust. Any woman that really shows those desirable traits, like a woman is loyal. You can trust a woman. She doesn't have all that male attention. She has a kind heart. She is very feminine. I think men are actually genuinely really highly attracted to that, and that's what they're going to wife up. That's when you get to the wife zone, right? Like, you have the wife zone, and then a guy is just like, I don't know, because she doesn't present those qualities because of something that's going on. And I see that with the dating culture today. I think men are kind of afraid to commit to a woman because they are not wife material. They have a lot of male attention from social media. They're promiscuous, they're past. They have these characteristics that make men afraid to commit to them because of these things, and or vice versa. Or a woman is afraid to commit to a man and take it to the next level because they don't have that level of trust, which is just, it's basic relationship 101, right? Like, you need to have a solid trust, whether that be in family relationships, friendships, relationships. You need to have that. And so I think it's causing all of this miscommunication, and you're walking, like, it's a gray area in this dating culture right now.
Where you were, and you need to not be there because it's pretty uncomfortable. So for women, it's obviously a lot more complicated because women have two sets of criteria that they judge men on. One of them is good guy stuff, and one of them is bad boy stuff. Good guy stuff, the level of good guy things that you have, which is, of course, how much you're investing in her. Is it enough for her? Are you presentable? Does that make you look good? Mm-hmm. That's, for women,
Agreed.
Looks is broken down into presentable
Agreed.
and face and body and height and voice. So men have that both in one thing, but women have looks separate. So if you're a really, physically unattractive guy, but you're very well put together and you're giving a woman a lot of investment, then you would have a really high good guy score and a very low bad boy score, and you would end up in the friend zone. So the amount that a woman thinks you are a good guy is going to be the amount of investment that you're giving her compared to what she wants, the amount that you make her look good when you're seen together in public, because that's going to push you above the public line. And then, this is important, men subtract other men from their valuation of women, and women subtract other women from their valuation of men in the good guy zone. But women will very often keep going back to a bad boy that has a lot of girls, or a situationship with a guy who has a lot of girls. Women generally do not subtract other women from the bad boy score. They take other women from the good guy score because that's going to take away your investment in her. And over here, having other women does not take away your investment in her because it's all based in excitement and physical things. And then finally, of course, women have the galaxy, and that's many, many, many little things that each individual woman values separately, which is the male version is the cabinet. In here, a woman might have, like, being good with kids, or liking pets, or having the same hobbies in common, or wearing a particular kind of shirt. There's lots and lots of little details in here that don't quite fit into anything else. It's just what fits with her life, what matches with her experience and with her feelings. And it's difficult to really predict what that's going to be. It's very individual for everybody. And this is very individual for everybody too, but this only matters a little bit. And this, if you have what a woman wants in here, it can give you a few points. Like if you're not particularly presentable, but you're okay, and you don't have a lot to invest, but you're okay, and you have a load of things in common with her, it can boost you up a few points on the good guy score. Again, not the bad boy score. So all of those things in the good guy score, they measure how much the woman trusts you to be able to be there for her and make her look good and have a very public relationship, very public. The more you are a good guy, the safer that she will feel going out with you and being seen with you in the friend zone, husband zone, or the Prince Charming zone. But again, if you have only good guy traits, she's not going to like you enough for any of these zones. You have to have some bad boy traits. And it could be just looking good. That's enough for some women. It can be, there are some guys who don't look that good, but they're very, very smooth again, and they have experience with women.
Okay, so some of the bad boy traits, I'm going to go through them, and I'm going to tell you which ones that I feel like resonate to me. So we have looks. Like, I feel like looks are important. Like, attraction is actually important in a relationship. And I don't think it necessarily matters for me when I'm dating, like whether you, like on a scale of 1 to 10, what you are, because I don't have that type. I feel like everyone is talking about this type. My girlfriends will look at a man and be like, oh, that's my type. But I don't feel that way. And I can't really tell you like why, if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know. Like maybe it is a bad thing that I don't necessarily have a type. Is that concerning? I don't know. That's a question for another time. But I don't think that I necessarily have a type because, I don't know, I'm attracted to what I'm attracted to. And I think first and foremost, personality is really important to me. And I know that sounds so cliche, like, oh, you're just trying to be nice. Like, no, I think it's, and maybe it's not even just the personality. I think it's personality mixed with that very first interaction. Like, how good was that first interaction? Were you confident? Did you just seem to really get to know me? What was that first impression like? Because I think that actually matters so much to me. Now that I'm looking back, I always label that as personality because it's like I get to know your personality a little better just from that first interaction. But I do think it's like that first impression that I have with you. That's very, first and foremost, that matters a lot. And then, because that even determines if I'm going to give you the time of day to get to know you better. And then I think it goes to personality. Like, do we have similar sense of humor? That's really how I communicate with people. The masculinity thing is huge for me. And I think that goes into the first impression. When I have that first impression with someone, is their dominance? Are you an alpha male? Are you very confident? I think confidence is something very different from cockiness. Cockiness is very in your face. It's very loud. I think confidence is a little more humble and it's a little more silent. Like you just know that you're secure in yourself and you can walk up to a woman and compliment her and there's no fear. I think that says a lot. I can tell when a man is insecure and I can smell that from a mile away, but I can sense the dominance and confidence. Confidence is so hot. I think that gives you so many points. Smoothness, like I think that kind of ties into the confidence, right? Like you know how to talk to a woman, you know how to have a conversation and you're personable. Those things matter a lot. And let's see, the good guy theory. I completely agree with this. And this is something that I've been experiencing currently because I feel like girls go from dating a bad guy to being like, whoa, that scorned me bad. Like I did not like how that made me feel. And then immediately after, they want to go after a good guy. This is an actual thing. I don't know, at least for what I've experienced and what I've seen. Girls will date a guy, pursue him, it's like the chase, and they know he's like in the back of their head. They know that, okay, this man might not be the best. Like he has bad boy tendencies and a lot of them, and he has a lot of female attention, or he has these red flags or trauma that he's not healed through, all of these things that make him a bad boy, but they pursue him anyways, and then they get him, and then they get their heart broken, or they break up, or something happens, and they're like, wow, like I need to stop dating men like this. This was my lesson learned. I'm gonna go after a good guy because it makes me feel safe. Girls need to feel safe. Women need to feel safe with a man. And again, gender roles. We cannot get enough of that. It's just what is innate in you. And men like to protect. Women like to be protected by man and feel safe. And I think that that's like something that I'm experiencing right now. Like when I'm like going through dating, it's the difficulty that I have is finding a good guy and like knowing that they're a good person. And this is something that I really like put on my community channel. Is like someone asked me what I learned in 2023, and I said that I learned that I can't always just trust everybody, because that was like one of my biggest lessons from 2023 was that I give people trust when they don't deserve it or they haven't earned it yet, and it ends up hurting me because I always just want to believe that everyone is a good person, even though like they show me or like I see it in their past that they are not a good person, and I see that like they've told me something or I know something about them or I saw a red flag and I ignore it because I want them to be good and I want to give them that trust, and then it ends up hurting me. So something that I learned was that I can't just do that. Especially in dating, you can't just assume that everyone's going to be good to you and that everyone has good intentions. So this year, I'm really focusing on, are they genuinely deep down a good person? And like, I have to be a better judge of character. Because like at the end of the day, like I think everyone just wants a really good, healthy, stable relationship, and they want to feel safe within their relationship. They want to trust their partner. They want to have all of these qualities that are going to build something long lasting. And you're not going to get that from a man or woman that craves multiple people's attention. And that's what they're going after. They're just going after something so surface level. You're not going to get that there. You need someone that is going to make you feel safe and good about yourself, that makes you feel like that you have a future, that you don't have to second guess, that you don't have to, that it's a Saturday night and that you don't know what they're doing, but you can trust that whatever they're doing is safe within your relationship, that they can go out with their girlfriends and you don't have to wonder. I think if you're with someone that's making you wonder what they're doing when they're not with you, like you wonder and it's a bad feeling, shouldn't be in that relationship. That's not a good feeling. So it's all about feeling safe, and that's a two-way street, right? So that is like one of my things that I'm like really focusing on this year is finding a really good guy. And it's not like, oh, I need someone that's a 10, I need this. Like, no, it's like, I really just want to find a really good person because that's what's going to enrich your life.
Women like it when they know you have experience with women. If you are very dominant, if you're good at something like a sport, if you're the head of your social group, if you're the boss at a job, like if she works somewhere and her boss is very, very dominant over other people, that's going to sort of trigger something in there. It triggers something in the bad boy continuum. Men who are very confident in themselves. Dark triad traits also appears here. Dark triad traits are linked to power, and one of the ways that power is most easily accrued for men is by being kind of brutal to other people and using them and tricking them, and it can get pretty dark. That's why it's called that. But it does result in men getting more power and more money and more status, and all of those things are attractive to women. Again, different women value different things differently, and you can have no looks at all, but very high masculinity, and women will like you like this. Women are very different from men in that way. If a woman is really unattractive, but has a great personality, we generally will not say, well, her personality is worth enough to get up here. You have to have at least a bare minimum of looks for men. But for women, I want you to Google Henry Kissinger. He's not an attractive man, but he was sleeping with supermodels because he was very, very powerful on a global scale. Masculinity is very attractive to women. So you can have a maximum bad boy score if you have super high masculinity, if you have super high power and no looks. It's different. So the way that a woman feels about your two scores, she's going to evaluate what are your good guy traits and what are your bad boy traits, and she's going to evaluate how she feels about you. That creates, I split it up into 9 zones, and I just used terms that are familiar in our culture to make it easier for people to understand. We'll start with nothing. If you have no bad boy traits at all and no good guy traits, you're a ghost. Women don't even recognize you. You're just a thing. If you're the mailman, you're just the thing that makes the mail come, unless you're very attractive, and then you would jump up to here. Let's start by going up the good guy scale. If you are less than half good, if you're below this public line, and you have no bad boy traits at all, and you're less than half good, and you're pursuing a woman, she's going to say, ew, you're a creep. You're not attractive to me at all, and you're not very good. So I don't want to be around you. If you go a little bit above half, women will have a gold digger relationship with men in this area if they have a lot of money. If they don't have a lot of money, it's kind of like ick. It's kind of just, okay, this guy's pretty nice, but I don't feel anything for him. And so it's just kind of gross and leave me alone. It's similar to creep, but a creep is like someone who you would not want to talk to at all. Someone who you would want gone from your life, but you'd be aware of him. You would not be aware of the ghost. Ick would be something like, well, he has to be around and I have to tolerate him, but I don't really want to think about, starting a relationship with this guy. Unless he has tons of money. And then some women will put up with it. Again, some women, everyone is different. If you max out your good guy score and you have no bad boy points at all, you're going to be in the friend zone. Women will go out in public with you. They will let you buy them things. That if you're very, very good to her and you're treating her with investment and you're making her look good and you don't have other women. I had a video recently with a girl talking about having a guy in the friend zone and he got a girlfriend, and so she lost her investment. And she said, well, that makes me feel bad, but then again, it wasn't a relationship, so I can't say anything. Sir. She was just talking about losing free investment from a guy who she didn't like at all. So this is not somewhere you want to be. And this is something that a lot of men have trouble with. They be as nice as they can be, and they go, why don't women want me? And it's because women are not attracted to this. It's what makes them feel safe and comfortable, and it's what makes them want to spend time around you. It's what makes them trust you. It's what makes them want to be seen with you or build a future with you, but it's not what makes them attracted to you. This confuses men, because when women give us what we value, they shoot right up this chart. And we wonder why that doesn't work for us. And the reason is that you either are not good looking and God forbid that you have unfixable things about you, but hopefully you can lose some weight and gain some muscle and start dressing better and become more masculine. If there are things that you cannot fix about your body, you have to at least be more manly. And then that's going to give you some degree of points. So if you are maximum nice and you become more manly by working on yourself, take care of your face and your body and become more of a man, you might move into the husband zone. If you do a fantastic job, you could move into the Prince Charming zone, but this is very, 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 very rare. So we did the first column, let's do the second column. If you are medium bad boy, if you're medium bad, if you're medium attractive or medium masculine, kind of manly, but not really, and you have no good guy things at all, sometimes you will be women's drunken mistake. This is kind of like the female sweeper. She might make a mistake and she'll feel like, well, you aren't really a bad boy. You don't really do it for me. We shouldn't have done this. I thought that you were going to be more exciting, but you're really lukewarm and you're not nice at all. If you are medium bad and you're, again, under half good, this is a bad situationship. This range is situationships and this one is settling, because at this point, this can become permanent in public, but in all three of these are where the man will not commit, and this is where the woman will not commit. So they're all situationships, but different kinds.
So let's talk about the husband zone, because there is a way to get to, that friend zone to the husband zone. And like he's saying, it can go on looks and it can go on your masculinity. And that is just simple attraction, right? Like, you have all of those things. You're giving this girl attention. You are kind. You're such a good person. And she really, really likes you as a friend. And you're stuck inside this friend zone. That sucks. And I have guys, I'm sure that I've had guys in the friend zone, and I don't see them more than that. And I think it's because you don't have that level of attraction with them. Like, listen, you're so sweet and I think you're great for somebody else. This happens a lot. It happens with a lot of girls. I hear it from my girlfriends, like, they really, really, really like a guy for somebody else, and it sucks. And it always comes down to the same things. They're like, I really, really like him, but I just don't see him as anything more because I'm not attracted to him. And there are two reasons for that, because the physical attraction, it's not there, and because of the chemistry, which comes from like behavior, right? Like how you carry yourself. It's that masculinity. Like, what are your masculine traits? Like, what is your energy? And I know that kind of sounds like hippie stuff is your energy, but I think it really matters, especially when you're with a person. And it's like, what is that chemistry between you guys? Like, what is the nonverbal communication like? And those are things, like he said, that if you cannot improve your looks by dressing yourself differently and making yourself more attractive, fixing your hair, or whatever it is, if you can't do that, you need to improve on your masculine traits. And I feel like this is what is lacking in society right now from both sides. It's not just men and it's not just women. It is both of us not fulfilling our masculine traits and our feminine traits. Like masculine traits, as a woman, I'm going to tell you what I like in a man. And I feel like it's him fulfilling his duty, like him having that drive, that discipline, that motivation, that go-getter mentality where he wants to provide for his family. That is very, very attractive to me. When I meet a guy that doesn't really care about his career, like he's like, it's not really for me, I just have a job, but I'm not really passionate about it, and I don't really care for it, or he can't hold down a job, like that is it for me. Like that gives me an ick, because I want someone that's going to provide. And I also am very driven in my career. I want someone that's more so driven in their career. So it pushes me. And also, like, I don't want to be working forever. Surprise, I want to raise my children. So I want a man that is willing to work his ass off and provide for his family. That is very attractive. Say what you will, but that is just the traditional woman in me, that I want to stay home and I want to raise my children. And I want a man that is going to want to go out there and work and let me do so and fulfill his gender role so I can fulfill mine. So a man that has that disciplined, motivated mentality. I think another one is like when I feel safe with a man. That is something that is very, very attractive. Like, and I mean that, like, I can notice that when they are holding doors open for me. They're making sure that if, we're out on a date and I didn't drive, they're making sure that I get in the Uber home. They're opening up the door, they're closing it. They're telling the Uber driver, get her home safe. They text me like when I got home, or asking me when I got home, making sure that I'm okay. Like just that manly, I'm protecting you, I am taking care of you trait that is very, very attractive. And another one is that confidence. I think that's something that I've been on dates with guys and I can immediately sense right off the bat if they're not confident and they're very insecure. I don't know, I think it's really just in their mannerisms too. Girls can sense that. That is something that you absolutely can work on. It's like, man, I'm not confident, nothing I can do, it runs in the family. We're a bunch of not confident people. That's just who we are. No, that is something that you can absolutely work on. And it's something that both men and women should work on. Confidence is very, very attractive. And that's something that you should work on too anyways, in a relationship or outside of a relationship, whether it's to find a wife, whether it's to just feel good about yourself, you should absolutely work on your confidence. You want to be able to walk in a room and feel like you can talk to absolutely anyone, not in a cocky way, but just in a way that you know that what you bring to the table, you know that you have all of these great qualities. You should want to be able to do that. So confidence is really freaking huge. And I think that you need to really have a solid set of those or be strong in one of those, like very, very confident. You need to be very, very like disciplined and just strong in your career. And you need to be able to really make a woman feel safe. Like very manly, alpha. I love that. I think it's just very attractive. And I think it goes like men listening to this, you can probably say the same about a woman, that you like those feminine traits. You want a woman to be soft and kind. You don't want them to have a lot of male attention. You want them to be very loyal to you. You don't want them to be super promiscuous and wonder what they're doing on the weekends because you can't trust them. You want a woman who's going to cook for you, that knows how to cook a meal, that you're going to have a date and you're going to come over and she's going to cook you something great. Like, I think that kind of wins a guy over because it's like you're fulfilling your gender roles. Like, that seems to be very attractive. Like when girls wear heels and have their nails done, like you're fulfilling, that's some sort of femininity. And I don't know, I'm just a girl just a girl, so I don't know how a man feels about that, but I feel that men probably are very attracted to that. Men are probably not going to be attracted to some girl who has very manly traits, that is very over the top, girl boss, wants to work all the time, fighting to pay over a bill, wanting to make more than a man. I feel like those things kind of bring out insecurities in men. So other than that, he didn't really talk about the values thing. That's like actually something I'm gonna have to make my own, not Hoe Math, but we're gonna talk about some girl dating math. But I think values is really, really important when dating. Like when I have a conversation, if they don't check the boxes of the things that I'm looking for in values, like the faith, where do we fall in politics? How do we want our children raised? That's really important, because if we don't have those connections, I don't foresee myself having a future with you, because I don't know how we would have a future in the same perspective and have a functional household. But other than that, it was very interesting and lots of good points. Hoe Math is just out here doing some guys and girls favors. More people need to actually listen to this because, again, like I said, lots of good points. I like that he actually draws it out. And men, get yourself to the husband zone. If you feel like you are stuck in a friend zone and you're like, dang, like I'm doing everything that I can, step it up. Get yourself to that husband zone. Go get yourself a wife. Step it up. Become more confident. Do what you can to actually get outside of that zone. You're not stuck in the friend zone. You're allowing yourself to be in the friend zone. So just know that. Don't forget it. Read the charts. Go listen to Hoe Math. And thank you guys for listening to Girls Gone Right.